Today we're creating a miniature effect for a wedding photo. Hey there, my name is Ali and today we're gonna create the miniature effect. You can find all the photos in the description below so you can practice with us. The first thing I wanna tell you about the miniature effect is that the most important thing is having the photos from the same perspective. Like if you look here, I have this fence shot. It's shot like maybe from the level of the fence itself or a little bit above. So when you take a photo and you wanna add it, you should add the photo from the same perspective. I made this before earlier, just like practicing, and I got this effect. But today we're gonna make this one. It was like a wedding photo and we're gonna put it in this environment. Okay, let's get started. We're gonna drag our first photo to Photoshop. Okay, this one I'm gonna use the crop tool just to adjust it a little bit. It's a little bit tilted. I'm gonna just adjust it even more. And I'm gonna make it less wide and press OK. Okay, that's good. I'll just crop it more. Something like that. Okay, that's looking good. Let's drag our couple. Okay, this photo is already PNG, but it needs a little bit of work still. You see there are white areas, so I'm gonna add a layer mask and then use a black brush with 100 opacity and make sure it's soft brush. And I'll just gonna delete the white areas around them. There are some white areas like around his face and at the back of his head. Okay, let me check any okay, there is some black areas here. Also here. Okay, just refining it. I don't want the blacks like around her dress because her dress is white, and if you have like black and white, it will be too contrasty, so it will be very obvious. Okay, and this area. Okay, now we're done with it. Okay, let's take a look at it. Make them a little bit bigger. Put them somewhere here. Okay, as you can see, they look a lot fake because her dress, if you see, it's so bright compared to the environment. And the blacks are too dark. Like the picture is too contrasty. So I'm gonna add a curves adjustment, link it below. I'm gonna take my blacks, make them more gray by pulling it up a little bit. And I'm gonna take my whites and make them more gray by pulling it down a little bit. Not like, yeah, something like that. You see the before and after what we did? We made it like more grayish, less contrasty. Okay, now I want to move them a little bit. I want them to be here maybe. Okay, now what we also need to fix is that you see the dress? We have here some grass overlapping the dress. And here the dress is in front of it. So this is like, it doesn't make sense. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lower the opacity of my layer. And then I'm gonna look at the grass which should be in front of them. And I'm gonna just paint black on my layer mask. So this will erase from the couple photo. So now I'm just painting black on these like grass. Okay, and here we have like some big grass. This one also. Yeah, just make sure you make it like even more realistic. Okay, now let's take a look what we did. You see all the like deletes we made, but it still looks horrible, of course. This whole area should be like overlapped by grass. So I'm gonna erase the whole tail of the dress like that. Yeah, but then these are like they are too sharp. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take my blur tool, make sure it's something like maybe 20%, and on the layer mask, I'm gonna blur the edges. I'm now only like blurring the mask because these are blurred. They are like close to the camera, so they should be blurred. And also for this one. So now if we zoom out and we take a look, you see now it's like more natural overlap. Okay, now I want to make them look more realistic with the floor itself. So I'm gonna add a layer below them. Take my brush, make sure it's black color, and I'm just gonna make some shadow below them, something like that. A big shadow. Usually I like to do 2 layers of shadow. Yeah, something like that. And I'm gonna lower the opacity a lot. Yeah, something like that. Then I'll add another layer. I do 2 layers of shadow. One is very soft and one is the hard one. The hard one is I'll zoom in a lot and I'll just draw a very small edge of shadow like under the feet and under the places which are touching the ground. Yeah, something like that. This is my hard shadow and I'll reduce the opacity a little bit. Not like the other one, I had 20% opacity. This one is 60 something. Maybe I'll lower it to 50. Okay, now we're looking good. I'll just crop it a little bit. Okay, no, I'll actually leave it because if you see this line, like our third, their faces at the top third. So this should be good. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a new layer on top of everything. I'll take an orange color. Now we'll start like playing around with the photo. I'll add like with a very big brush, an orange here and there, something like that. Then I'll change the blending mode to soft light and I'll lower the opacity a little bit. So we added some sort of an orange color. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go, I want to color more, so I'm gonna go to curves adjustment. I like to color with curves adjustment actually. So I'll go to my red channel. I'll add some reds to the highlight. Always like the upper point is the whites, the bright areas, and the lower point is the dark areas. And the opposite of red of cyan, so I'm gonna add cyan like to my dark areas. Little bit of cyan. Then I'm gonna go to the blue channel. I'm gonna add yellow to my highlights. See, this is yellow to the bright areas. And I'll add blue to my shadows. This adds like some color contrast to your photo. Okay, then I'm gonna add another curves layer, but this time I'm not gonna go to the channels. I'll just use the RGB, which is only black and white. And I'm gonna pull from this point down. This will make my photo a lot darker, but then I'm gonna take the darkest point, pull it up a little bit to fade the photo, something like that. And then I'm gonna take my whites, make them even whiter. Okay, something like that. That's looking good actually now. Okay, well, I always like to zoom out and in just to make sure everything, and I always pull a ruler. It automatically snaps in the middle, just to make sure they are at the middle of my photo. Okay, I'll crop it a little bit, something like that maybe. Maybe from below a little bit up. Yeah, I want them like to be larger and taking more focus. Like a lot of grass is useless to have it in the photo, so I want them to be larger. Okay, something like that is perfect. Now I wanna do maybe, it looks good actually, but I'll do a photo filter. I'll go to photo filter and then I'll try to play around with different ones. I'll just stand on this one, keep pressing down on my keyboard. Try out different colors. I like the blue actually. I'll take the blue, but I'll reduce the density a little bit of it. Okay, one last thing I'm gonna do. This is too green. I don't like the too much greens. So I'm gonna go to hue and saturation and I'll change the master to greens. Now we're only playing around with the greens. I'll increase this a little bit to the right and left to make sure I'm targeting all the greens. And if you see the green is here, the yellow is left of the green. So if I want to go from green to yellow, I will move to the left. So I'll move this to the left. You see what happens? It goes more to the yellow. This is like the 0% green. This is more yellow. I like the more yellow actually. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold Control Alt and Shift and then press E. It will merge everything I did into a new layer. So I can go to Filter, Camera Raw Filter. Now we're editing the entire image using the Camera Raw filter. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna brighten it up a little bit, increase the contrast a little bit. I'll bring the whites a little bit down. We have a lot of like strong whites, so I'm bringing it a little bit down. The clarity, I'm gonna increase it. It will make everything like sharper and more clear. Maybe some vibrance, add color to the photo. Okay, and then I'm gonna go to my FX module. I'll dehaze the photo a little bit. What the dehaze does, it adds like fog and removes fog. So when you remove fog, everything is a little bit clearer. Okay, so I made like 4%. And then the last thing, I'm gonna add a vignette. The vignette is basically just drawing a circle around your photo. You can play with the midpoint, like make the midpoint more in the middle, make it more square or make it more circle. And you can make it like sharp or more feathered. So I'll make a vignette, but I'll make it like settled one. I don't want it too strong. Yeah, something like that. Press OK. You see the before and after, the camera raw. This is the before and this is the after. Okay, thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Make sure you subscribe and like it so you can see like more tutorials. Thank you.